Oh my days. Hello, hello. Um, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. I know I'm a tad late. Oh my God. Can my camera behave? Yeah, I had some tech issues, which was great, which I had to sort out. I just woke up from my nap. There's dribble everywhere. What day is it? It is Sunday. It's almost Monday again. I joke, I joke. It's a great day today in Japan. Why is it a great day in Japan? Well, hello, welcome in. Um, yeah, so to start off this stream, we'll be talking about Star Ocean, the Divine Force, because isn't it? You're terrible. You're terrible. Anyway, terrible pun aside, yes, so Star Ocean. I did indeed manage to finish that on Tuesday, although it was quite late. Um, what time did I even? I think I finished around like 1:30 in the morning. Um, I don't want to hear myself, thanks. Create a dashboard. Haunts. It doesn't tell me. Yeah. So stream summary. There we go. Oh yeah, yeah. It was about 1:30 when I actually finished the stream. Um, so yeah. I was way too tired to talk about it then, but I'm going to talk about it now. About my thoughts and everything on Star Ocean the Divine Force. And I'm kind of splitting the stream up with like the names and stuff so it makes it easier for me to then edit it later, um, so that I can break it up and upload them in the correct way. Um, so, um, overall, as like gameplay wise, um, it was it was interesting for like the combo side of things. Um, I just realized I haven't turned my monitors up. Yeah, it was. Um, I literally have just forgotten what I said. um, yeah, so I literally can't remember what I was saying. Um, my brain is terrible. So yeah, it was. I have to say, in terms of like story plot, it started off very slow. I will get to that in a bit. Don't worry. I'm not ignoring what you're saying. I'll get to that in a bit. Um, but yeah, in terms of overall story, it was I feel like in some places it was really slow, and in other places it had like a lot of information. Like it didn't really have like a good balance, and I understand they're trying to like build the game up. Um, I feel like that they could have like sort of maybe spread it out a bit more, or like at least made each section similar in terms of content wise, because it was kind of very jarring to be like, oh yeah, we've just got this little like a fetch quest, and then that's it. And there was a lot of back and forth like between different things. Like you'd have to go from one town to another. And yeah, there was a teleport system. However, it would always pop up with, oh, if you do this, you're going to miss some conversation. And it's just like, well, you're not going to skip it if you're going to miss conversation, because if you're playing it for the story, then you're going to miss out on the story because you teleported. But then it would be really weird where there either would be like a couple of just like what would be considered banter conversations, or you'd get a conversation, you get like a conversation, but it would be um like completely random, and it'd just be like, what? No, you get a conversation at the town that you're going to, so you could have teleported. So I think there's things like that where they could have maybe marked it a bit more like there's a conversation in this town, or there's a conversation on the way to this town, kind of thing, rather than just being like, if you do this you'll miss conversation. It's just like, well, that's not helpful. um and in terms of like what seems to be a relationship system, um oh my god, I can't spell. Star Ocean, the Divine Force. So there is like a relationship system, um but it seems very difficult to like do, because they're not obvious and they're just like kind of all over the place. Um, where is, as before, PAs may raise or lower affinity. What's PAs? Don't assume that someone knows what a PA is. Like, oh, private actions. Okay. But like most conversations, when you go talk to them, there isn't anything to do. Hang on. They get paired turned into party members if party character affinity is 80 or above. Right. So how do you, it? Okay, this is what I mean. Like, there's things online that say about the affinity system, but it doesn't tell you about the affinity system. Like, how does it work? What do you do? Um, no, I don't want all these. So, right, so that's okay. I'm not even going to bother trying to look online. So yeah, there's a way to like increase your affinity with people, but it's not very clear on like how you do that. And from what someone said in the stream on Tuesday, apparently there are multiple like multiple um story points that you can get um when you reach a certain affinity with certain characters. So it seems like that, from what I can tell, you won't find out anything unless you raise the affinity high enough. So, like with Ray and Leticia, if you don't raise their affinity high enough, then basically nothing happens, is what I'm getting from that. So, unfortunately, no, they did not kiss. There was a moment, I kid you not, um, where they were like this close to each other and they didn't do anything. There was no like touching of the shoulder, there was no like leaning in or anything like that. But there was like fun, sort of like, um, it looked like that they were really enjoying talking to each other and that they really didn't want to stop, kind of thing. Like they had that kind of like playful nature on their face and in their actions, but just nothing happened. Um, so that was really disappointing, because like there's obviously something going on there. But then, yeah, if you don't raise the affinity high enough, then you're not going to get that, which is really shitty. Um, Title of the stream. You know what? I already corrected myself once when I was typing and I failed still. There we go. Divine Fros. More like divine disappointment. Um, because fuck that. Fuck that affinity system. Yeah, and I don't know, like I feel there was like a lot of things sort of left unexplained. And like with the um like the side quests, it was extremely unclear on how to clear most of those. Like some of them were really easy. Like one of them was literally find a cat. It's just like, okay, go to the location where the cat's meant to be. There's no cat. What are you meant to do? And there's no way for you to get like a hint or anything, which I do get a bit annoyed that games give you like an over amount of hints, but the fact that there was literally nothing is really frustrating. And like the fucking chess thing that they had was absolutely unnecessary. Like, I don't know who would play that. It's so boring. Like, I played one or two games and it was just, it could have done without it. Like, I don't think it was, I think they just added it just because they wanted to put something else in it, but it doesn't do anything. Like, it's pointless. It's not part of the story. It's just some weird side thing that you can do if you collect the characters, but then if you've got them equipped to characters, then you can't use them in that system. So I don't know. Can we start a petition for Star Ocean the Divine Force 2 just for Ray and Leticia content? Well, if I had known how to raise the affinity, then I would have tried to raise the affinity of Leticia and Ray more. But when you go talk to people, like when they appear, I don't understand how the affinity system works because there's no clear indication of affinity being raised with the characters. Um, I'm gonna affinity. Okay, so according to a Reddit post, you can craft something called Tears of Aphrodite, and then you save them right before the final boss. Use all 10 on the companion you want to like you the most by saving just before the final boss. And before you use the tears, you can reload the save and do it for each companion. So, yeah. Um, it's typically impacted by the number of battles where each character fights together and boss fights spend together. No. Well, I think it's for the safer option to a degree. But yeah, pick the option you like. If you really want to maximize, make sure to sweep every town a few times each story beat until no more PAs trigger. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it looks like that the way the game is designed is that unless you look up a guide or something, which there are absolutely terrible guides, um, even game facts is like the affinity between your The affinity between your main character and other characters depends on the relationship and assigned numerical value in the game. As a result of their existing relationship, Raymond is naturally closer to Elena than the other characters to begin with, and Leticia closer to Albert. You have opportunities to participate in private actions throughout the game. Viewing these scenes change your affinity with the character. But I talked to the characters as much as I could, and I got Albert. So basically, because there's no clear way to see the affinity system or who you're closest to, you're just basically going to be closest to the person that the character is with. That's that's very odd. I don't understand that at all. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be desired from how the system works, and like there was a bit of an unnecessary amount of traveling. Like some places didn't really need to be, like the fact that you had to cross like several planes of the overworld before you could get to your next point was really stupid. But that ties into where it says, oh yeah, if you teleport you'll miss out important conversation. And you probably saw like there were numerous times where it said that, and there was no conversation, or there was one conversation and it wasn't even relative to the story. It was just like some little banter that they had. So it's very strange, but it also seems like that your first playthrough is meant to be like kind of a learning experience, but also it, I don't know, it's odd. And I wasn't really too keen on the sort of like redemption bad guy trope, because and the fact that no matter how many times you kept taking the bad guys down, like where they should have technically been dead because they were literally lying on the floor, not moving, and then they just come back to life again. It's like, didn't didn't you just die like 4 times? It makes no sense. Death equals redemption, classic. Yeah, it's classic and stupid. Um, and that was really frustrating. Um, but yeah, like the final area was interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, I still like I kind of understand what Scorpium is. It's a hive entity, but at the same time, there was like there was basically hints of like, oh yeah, it's like a man-made thing. But then it didn't go into it any further. Like we know that Scorpium is essentially trying to like assimilate planets, but do it in a way that they see the benefits. But then there's people like Voldor that would try and take it over, like the centralists from the centralists, which were formed of the Federation. Which were formed of the Federation, who had been basically behind the scenes for like 15 odd years. Oh my god. So it's really odd because I feel like it glazed over some very important parts. Like the bad guys just kind of didn't have enough dialogue. There wasn't enough like foreboding kind of scenes. It was just kind of like you go into these areas, discover the bad guy, you talk for like 2 minutes, and then you're fighting each other, and then that's kind of it. But you don't find out anything about like you don't really find out much about like why they did it, or like you know, what what really drove them to that, because I feel like it's very glazed over. And like Baldur's, the whole thing with Baldur was kind of really stupid because he's a primitive person in terms of like, everyone else that isn't on, um what is it, Aceris, if I remember correctly, Aceris. um and he's like discovered scorpium for what, a little while. um like he had visitors from another planet, so Lola and the two guys, for a while, and they were basically helping them, um make the empire, or Imperials, whatever they want to call them, stronger compared to the kingdom. And unless there was like some behind the scenes stuff, which again, it would help if we could see things that have gone on, like where some games do like a foreboding cutaway or something like that. There wasn't anything like that. So there's like a lot of things that were like left in the shadows of what could have been good information to put in. Because from a gameplay standpoint, Baldur had discovered about the Scorpium for a couple of days, and then suddenly he's like integrated so far into Scorpium that like he's made himself immortal by completely casting away his body and uploading his consciousness to the net. But it's done in such an odd way, because as someone who's like, if you're in a primitive planet and suddenly you discover like all these advanced technologies, like surely it would take a while to physically grasp that. Surely it'd take more than like a couple of days for you to go, you know what? I'm going to be um like a sub leader of the centralists, of this Scorpium sub, um like this the Scorpium centralists. It's it doesn't make much sense. Like surely it would take a while to grasp the concept of it and like to wrap your head around, right? I'm not insane. Yeah, exactly. It's like when radios and telephones were introduced in the God, when were they introduced? Um okay. The telephone was introduced in the 1876. Like it's like with any new technology, like people are like, "Oh no, what is this?" And it takes people ages to get used to it. Like um and sort of like get a grasp on it. But Baldur is like, "Oh, I'm using a sword. Wait, no, I can have these amazing powers and turn myself into a fucking dragon and like upload my consciousness to the net." Things that he did not have any concept of prior to that. Like, there's no way that he knew about anything to do with any of that. And he's just gone, you know what? Sounds great. And somehow he has like a full grasp on it and he's leading the centralists. It's it's a very strange story. It has a lot of flaws, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, I get that they do exist and the technology's already there, but it's like the grasping of it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I suppose the flood of information, but then there's still like the comprehension side of it. But I guess that could also be like offset by the fact that, yeah, he'd have the higher processing skills to grasp it quicker. But that seems like a very forced and rushed major plot point, you know? Like, am I just being silly? Like, am I making any sense? To me, it doesn't. It feels very rushed. That's a simulation, though. The game feels very Star Trek reskin to me. If it was the Borg, it'd make total sense. Okay. I don't really have Star Trek knowledge, so I don't really geek mode on. That's fine. Like, I prefer Star Wars to Star Trek. Like, I know a few character names from Star Trek, and that's about it. Um, but yeah, like, the thing is, I remember the story from. I do have a pile here. I don't know if you'd noticed it. Um, I remember the story from Starish and the Last Hope being a lot better, and more things were explained, and it kind of made a lot more sense. And I feel like while obviously the focus was on a a victim of COVID. Hmm. Yeah. So there is a possibility. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Apparently, there is a COVID reference in the game, according to a few different things. So I don't know. Actually, I suppose the epidemic that they have in the game is a COVID reference to a degree. Um, yeah, but see, so in this one, so the back of the case says the year is 2087. From the smoking ruins of World War III, surviving members of the human race have united in a final desperate bid for survival. With no refuge to be found on the devastated earth, all eyes have turned to the stars and the heroic pioneers charged with finding a new home amongst them. They represent mankind's last hope, but does the answer truly lie in the infinite expanse of the great star ocean? The origins of the legendary Star Ocean saga are revealed in the symphony of dazzling visuals and breathtaking real time combat. So, yeah, it could have been that it was affected by COVID and that caused problems. It wouldn't surprise me, but I did kind of enjoy it. Like, I did enjoy it, but I feel like it could have had a bit more in it. Like, there was a lot of different races that we did see that were integrated into the Centralists, which Star Ocean The Last Hope, you see a lot more um, races as they should be, and you get to visit a lot of different planets. Whereas the Divine Force, okay, you visit like two planets and you don't even get to explore them. You explore facilities within them. Wow, I love this. Um, why do I feel like there's more information on the Xbox 360 game than there is a later game? On a routine transport mission, Raymond Lawrence's ship is attacked by the Pangalactic Federation and he crash lands on an underdeveloped planet. He meets Princess Leticia, who is fighting to protect her homeland from an invading empire. Together, they set off an adventure that will shake the foundations of the entire universe. Well, no, it won't. Anyway, are they linked? I don't think they're like directly linked. Um, hang on. I think they're separate games, but they're set in like the same universe. So they they obviously have like a lot of the same factions. They have a lot of the same sort of like planets available. What year is it set? So when is that's not what I think so, yeah. Um Community. Let's see. Okay, I'm on the Star Ocean wiki and honestly I'm so confused. It's actually a terrible wiki. Lore. Okay. So God, there's quite a lot of Star Ocean games. I have not played half of them. Right, okay. From what I'm reading, there is a chronological order, but it's a bit like Star Wars where the release date is not the order of the game timelines. Um Apparently they're only loosely connected, but apparently Star Ocean First Departure and Second Story slash Second Evolution are the most connected. Theory: if the divine force is set in the far future from the last hope, does that mean the people of Letitia's planet were a type of Luddite colony refusing to accept technology and return to a medieval state, forgetting they once came from stars but kept the English? Well, that's the thing. It's like obviously Ray and everything were just like, oh yeah, we've got to have a translator on. But that's another thing. Like that's another glaring thing that it doesn't talk about. Like, what language are they speaking? There's no signs or anything that have like some strange language. It's like, I mean, Asta 4 is not the same as Earth because this is literally talking about World War Three, and this is talking about Asta 4. So they're two completely different planets. So there's not even like it's the same planet gone to ruin. It's completely different. It's very odd. I think I'd need to play more Star Ocean games to like try and grasp what the heck is going on. Um okay, so for in AD 2064. So hang on. Oh no, wait. That's not star date. Yeah, but like oh my god. Spin-offs, mangas, other contents. It seems like that the Pan-Galactic Federation has been around for a very long time. The Pan-Galactic Federation was around during Star Ocean: The Last Hope. Hang on. Um, Factions. Okay, so the Pan-Galactic Federation, also called the Earth Federation. So yeah, exactly. Is an organization of large body of planets in the Star Ocean universe formed in 12 SD. But what is star date to AD? So okay, right, this is better. Fucking hell. Space date. So Star Ocean: The Last Hope is set in space date 10. Star Ocean: The Divine Force is set at space date 583. So there is a huge time frame between them. But then you've got Star Ocean Am Nemesis, Integrity and Faithlessness, Till the End of Time, Blue Sphere, Second Story, and First Departure, which are all set. So, First Departure, Second Story, Blue Sphere are all set within 20 SD of each other. And then Integrity and Faithlessness, and then Amnesia, Amnemesis, Amnesis, Anamnesis. I'm trying to read the wiki and it's confusing as fuck. Or am I just stupid? Because it's all over the place. Like, and then standard date system in the use of the Panda. The system commemorates the year Professor Tri- Trialis developed his fastening speed, yeah, which enabled interstellar. On March 7th, 4 years after the Earthlings travelled faster than the terrain government of the established system of dates within the first year in honour of this great achievement. Yeah, because I remember that, like, in Star Ocean The Last Hope, they have literally just discovered the space travel, but it wasn't possible without the help of essentially extraterrestrials. Like, they helped them with that technology. Like, they didn't build it themselves, they got help from other races in the universe. So they didn't even make it themselves. So they were nowhere near close enough to make the technology that they needed for the space travel. Apparently, the devs were huge Star Trek fans and somewhat accidentally mirrored the main shows, according to Reddit. Brilliant. Fair enough. Oh my god. Either way, it is tempting to play this again potentially to try and like do other bits and maybe play from Raymond's point of view, but I don't think it's something I'm going to do anytime soon because it was very confusing. Okay. As someone who's gone through every episode of Star Trek, it def has a vibe to it of the show. Okay. Well, this one will definitely be, I want to say, more interesting, but also this is like basically where it all starts. So it kind of, I feel like it would be better. But yeah, like it's not like I hated playing it. I'm kind of making it seem like that it was awful, but it's just like I just feel like there's some bits that they could have done better. Like there's some bits that they could have just made a bit more apparent, and they could have done like some more flashbacks for certain things. Like they could have linked things in better than they did. Like I did enjoy playing it because it was interesting to see what was going on. But yeah, there was just like I think there's a lack of information in this that is causing a lot more confusion than there needs to be. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be, well, not the Xbox 360 version. Although, having said that, I could probably load it on my Xbox. Um, but I do have the HD remaster for PC. So I will be playing that one. But I'm not sure if I'll be playing it straight away. Part of me is tempted to play something else, or we could go straight into Star Ocean. What I might do is do a poll and choose between, because I am very tempted to do a playthrough of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword because I have not forget them all. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I don't have that game. Um yeah, I didn't drop anything. Um yeah, I might do a poll because I do want to play this, but I also do want to play Skyward Sword, and you're gonna see me like move the just brilliant. Out of everything that happens, that's what gets clipped. Me dropping the game. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do a poll. But also, the other reason why it'd be really awkward to play this on Xbox is because. So look at this. We've got a disc. What's this? We've got another disc. What's this? We've got another disc. I don't know what you wrote, but it's starred out. Oh my god. Yeah. So back when some games were too big to fit on one disc. One of the very few games you will see that has multi-disc, like Final Fantasy VII, for the PS1 and Final Fantasy VIII as well. Are you trying to post a link in the chat? Is that what you've tried to do? Yeah, you can't post it in here. You got to post it in the Discord because of bots trying to post stuff. I'm sorry. Um, like Final Fantasy 13 for 360. Yep, and Final Fantasy 13 for 360 as well. Welcome in Ura Uran Uranin Azek. Zach. I don't really know how to pronounce your name, but hello. Yura. Okay. Yura. Perfect. Yeah. So that's my rant on well that's my overall thoughts of Star Ocean the Divine Force. Um yes. Yes, you were. Yes, you were as well, which we will be getting to very shortly. Um I'm not quite done yapping yet, apparently. But it will start very soon. I literally have it like loaded up, waiting. Um, but I did so I don't have that many copies of Final Fantasy 12, but where are they? I mentioned it last week, but I do have my PS2 copy of Final Fantasy 12, and as I mentioned, this disc looks awful, but I hope you can see it on stream. Maybe. Hang on. I don't think you can. What you might be able to if I move it closer. But you can there we go. You can kind of see it. It has a crack in it. It's got a crack just there on the disc. I don't know, but it does play fine. So I'm gonna guess no, but it's perfectly fine. Also, I do feel like that um I do have the walkthrough. Back when you actually got things like a little book with all the controls in and stuff. Does it have? Yeah, well, it's a good thing we can emulate in this day and age. I know. Oh, not going to show the characters, but yeah, like back when we actually got helpful information. Um, yeah. Hang on. I think there's even like yeah, there's like little like posters in here and stuff, and just like check the name color, and it like goes through all the stats ailments and things like that as well. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. But also with my when I say my pre-order, but like I do like that some games have a two-tone I say two-tone. Like you know when they have flippable flippable sleeves. I do like that. Um but yeah, I don't even think I've taken this out the cellophane, but it's one of those you can't really see it very well for the lighting and stuff. Hang on. Why is it trying to focus on me? It's one of those there we go. It's moving now. Oh, the thick guides. What, you mean like some of the ones that I've got here? Hang on. Let me change my thing now because we're getting on to Final Fantasy talk now. Oh my god. Uh do do do. But yeah, I do miss manuals as well because they're just like they were so nice. Like they gave information and they gave you like tips on how to like play the game and stuff and told you about some of the characters. Remember the thick FF guides? I still have some. They were good. Got FF 12 special edition. What special edition for what? Switch? I don't think so. Guide. Um, I don't know. I think I have the guide, but I can't remember where it is because I do remember using it. Okay. Um, I have mine in hand. Oh, do you? I tried to. I tried to, even though I hated the game. Wow. Wow. I do actually have other bits here too. I was going to show off that that's just Final Fantasy 10 and 10 2. The one game they do need to remake. The one game they should remake. Play that. Yeah. And do you know how difficult that would be? But yeah. Um, where is it? I only have the floppy Final Fantasy 10 one. Um, yeah, so I couldn't find my Final Fantasy 12 one. But I do have like some other ones, but we were talking about it before. Oh my god, because mentioned about The Legend of Zelda and like the three games that I did not recognize because they are not in this Historia. This chunky monkey book. This big hardback. Like you can just see all like it's so pretty. Hyrule Historia. I actually should probably go to the proper blurb. But yeah, like It even gives you like the Skyward Sword characters. Like, look at this. Look at that. Like, it's gorgeous. Um, hang on. Uh, it's kind of interesting that it starts off with Skyward Sword in here. Um, so I think it starts on page 68. Ah, yes. The history of Hyrule. A chronology. Play more Zelda. I know, right? Yeah, so this is why, because if you can see, this does not mention any of those three games at all. It only mentions the good games, which is why I never thought to think about them. But yeah. Wow, play more Zelda. Well, we might be. We might be. Who knows? I've tried playing Zelda games with both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, but I couldn't get into them. Oh, Twilight Princess is literally the best, though. It's just, oh, it's beautiful. Um, then why is Adventure of Link in there, huh? Adventure of... I've just put it down. Hang on. What I miss? Oh yeah, it is. Wait, wasn't that the cartoon though? I do play as Zelda in Smash Bros. Though. Does that count for something? No. Theo shoulders. I honestly think the one with the chronology. Hang on. Because you were just like, oh, then why is the Adventure of Link in there? Because that's the second Legend of Zelda game. That's actually the... That's the Legend of Zelda 2. Directors, producer. That wasn't one of the ones done by CDI, was it? Hang on. No, they didn't do that one. They did Zelda's Adventure. They did Link the Faces of Evil and Zelda the Wand of Gamelon. You you need a bonk. If I could bonk you, I would. Mince, you absolute banana. What? You're the one who said, then why is the Adventure of Link in there to I j- that wasn't the conversation topic. Yeah, because you said the only good game in it. Like, yes, because we know the CDI ones are shit and do not count. That's what I meant. Only the proper series. Okay, but yeah, I do have the lovely hard book of Majora's Mask. So we could potentially do um a Majora's Mask playthrough at some point, and you would see me look at this book quite a lot because I have no idea how to play it otherwise. Oh wait, I actually started a playthrough. I've got a marker in here. But I do also have two Skyward Sword ones, although I think this was given to me because it's kind of a bit beat up. Like, you can kind of see it. Like, it's not the most pristine. Where you look at my copies, like, even this one, you look at my copies, and they're absolutely pristine. Because, like, even this one, even this hardback, it might as well be brand new. But yeah, I do try and get the hardback ones where I can. I do have Hyrule Warriors Legends as well, but that's like spin off. Oh my god. I only got them because I was gonna we were talking about stuff. But yeah. Oh my god.